أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. الله الكبير. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. الله الكبير. Again, we are grateful to God for giving us this opportunity, and again, this is not by accident. This is by divine design and providence that we are here today, and God has given us another chance, another opportunity, and so we should take this opportunity and thank Him. So our time is not up yet, and so we have time, and we should take advantage of this blessing from God and make ourselves better today. And so inshallah, we're all doing good with our fasting. And again, I want to mention this: if you're ill or something and you're not fasting, you cannot fast. You're also worshiping God alone, okay, because that's what He told you. So don't worry about it. This is not something to be sad about, okay. This is something that happens, and so we have to in every occasion we have to follow God's commandments and His instructions. So anyway, again, for those of us who are healthy and we are fasting and we are obeying God's commandments, we should be on our best behavior and make sure that we are grateful for that and appreciative of God's blessings. And so this is a double type of thing. And tomorrow that you're not dealing with money and things like that, it's Sabbath, and so you're thinking about God the entire day. You're fasting on that day also, and doing your contact prayers and doing it on time. So those are all the vehicles by which God has created for us to get closer to Him. Okay, make sure that we understand this. Okay, and so gratefulness and appreciativeness is a godlike quality, and so we should follow His path. Okay, today what I wanted to talk to you about is that in the Quranic study sometimes it comes up, and a lot of people are, and what I'm trying to say to people is that I'm trying to tell them that avoid asking questions about God that you cannot answer. Okay. Partly is that we are in this universe, and this universe is a function of time. So, and time is something that we don't have access to. Length, height, and width. Those are the so-called 3 dimensions, and you can go back and forth in it and investigate it. But you don't have any access to time. You cannot go back in time, okay, unless God takes you there, and so that's a different thing. So that law has to change somehow. But right now we are in this world and this universe that is a function of time, and so a lot of questions that we ask, we are bound by these tenses. Okay, so when you take grammar in any language, they say, well, you have past tense, you have present tense, and you have future tense. And these 3 tenses do not apply to God. Okay, so if we put God in a box as the function of evolution of time, then we are bound to ask the wrong question. Okay. And so I'm trying to avoid that in our Quranic studies. Okay. The Quran describes it very well. Okay. When God says that, He talks about everything. Okay. He doesn't say, I created everything. Okay. He says He is the creator of all things or everything. Okay? This is a timeless statement. Okay? So that's what you do. A creator just creates. Okay? God says, "Yakhluqu ma yasha." He creates what he wills. Okay? So he creates all the time. So right now God is creating. Okay? Then God says he created a human being. Okay? Now, why does he say that he created? Because now you are in time dimension. You and I are in dimension of time. That's exactly what he did. Okay? Then the Quranic phraseology goes into describing a time medium for us. Okay? So, what I'm trying to tell you is that avoid asking these questions that are time phrased in time, okay, about God. That does not apply to God. And the problem with these kind of questions are that when we do that, then what happens is that since we will not have an answer to it, then it becomes very dangerous. It becomes a source of doubt in our mind. And again, God describes his system of creation in the Quran. Okay. He tells us that the truth creates things. So what is this truth? Okay. The truth creates things. God says that falsehood does not create anything. God says falsehood vanishes. It never existed. A lie does not exist. It has no physical existence. So we must be in this position, as I said, that if we want to do this, we have to be very careful and ask those questions within the context of the Quran, not from our own minds, okay, or from our own knowledge. Today I was reading about this paper that they said, well, the Hubble constant is really not a constant, okay, that the expansion of the universe is not uniform. So they looked at it with the Webb telescope and they looked at it with the Hubble telescope, and the Hubble seemed to be right. So Webb verified that. So it basically oscillates between 74 kilometers per second per megaparsec to as low as 67 or 66 kilometers per second per megaparsec. Okay? So it's not as constant as we thought it was. So the cosmology that we knew was not correct. Okay? God says he expands it, but he doesn't tell you how he expands it. So we're halfway correct. And there are these so-called standard candles that people actually look at. And they can actually tell by looking at these galaxies that are as far as 140 million light years away from us. Okay? Within the cosmic distance, that's not very far. Okay, so you have to be aware of that. 140 million light years is not very far away. Okay. So again, I'm going back to this, okay, that we have to look at it within the phraseology of the Quran, how God phrases it. and we want to ask those questions and answer those questions, we have to do it within the context of the Quran. Otherwise, as I said, we are going to ask the wrong question, and to our own mind, we are going to also give the wrong answer. And the wrong answer is an answer which is going to put doubts in our hearts. And we don't want that to happen. So go back again to the Quran and see how he describes it. Okay. God says in chapter 16, he says, and he creates what you do not know. Okay. Some people ask, what is he creating? Okay. I mean, the answer is none of your business. God is God. He is not going to ask me or you or somebody else what he can create or what cannot create. Okay? He creates according to the truth. And the truth is never ending. So the creation is perpetual. It goes on all the time. And there are things that we do not know. Okay? There are still species in this world that we do not know about. I mean, viruses, they come out of nowhere. And these are new strains of something that we were not aware of that before. These are just single cell beings. Okay? God knows what else is going on out there. So when we look at it, as I said, we have to look at it within the context of the Quran. Okay? And God says he deliberately overlooked them. In chapter 5. But he says that if you ask within the context of the Quran, then you'll find out. Okay? So that's what we have to do. That's why we have to train our mind and ask God to actually do this for us. Okay? And think about God, okay? This is God who is everywhere. He watches everything. He knows everything. Okay? He knows the rate of your heartbeat and some rodent which is going in some desert someplace like that. He knows his heartbeat too. And every other rodent, every other human being, and every other living thing. He knows their functions. Okay? So when we think of it that way, that's what God is describing himself as. That he knows all. He's aware of all. He knows the secrets that you and I do not know. Okay? So if you look at it in that picture, then things become clear to us. Otherwise, as I said, time-wise type of questions and stuff like that, it's not going to send us to a nice place. Okay? It's going to get us lost. And as I said, then we are going to give the wrong answer, and the wrong answer is not satisfactory to us, and the doubts are going to creep in. So, again, ask God to help you. Again, go back to the Quran and ask those questions within the context of the Quran. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and stop here and we'll finish this unit. Allah Kareem.